Let's get into it. Soul Not For Sale podcast. I got the wife here with me.
Hello.
And this clip is Joe giving some good old motivation, but also the person he's sitting with, Charles. He's a country singer. And that story that he tells at the beginning of how things could have gone really badly for him and his crew, really inspiring. And it reminds me of a story of my own friend who's a comedian that I often hear him like traversing through this whole thing. So I'm going to get into that. We're going to play this clip and then we're just going to expand on this whole thing.
Great.
How does that sound to everybody? Let's go. Don't forget about IamCoachColin.com. We got Soul Not For Sale, the new design. George Orwell was right, and Public Enemy #1. Discount code is IamCoachColin. All capital letters, all one word, one L in the name Colin. Let's get into this clip.
COVID got the legs out from under that. So on the other side of that is really where, I could have gone two ways. And I went back on tour in the spring of 21. And then I started taking my full band out with me, and we're a 7-piece, including myself, in the summer of 21. And I went broke in the fall.
Whoa.
Yeah. I couldn't pay my guys.
Wow.
1 week. And I had my second album, which we made during the COVID year, went on pre-sale that next week. And I explained to my guys what was happening, and they stuck with me. And once I put the pre-sales up, then I got a little bit, to keep paying them, and we were able to keep working. And then I was bleeding real bad in 21, and it came down to one point in Bloomington, Indiana. We played the Bluebird one night, and I just gotten a new day-to-day manager who's done a phenomenal job for me. But anyways, he had just gotten on the job and basically broke it down for me on the phone how much I was losing per month, and was just saying, he's like, "This is you're going belly up here. This is over. You have to cut half these guys, and even then, we're gonna have a hard time making it." And after that gig, we all sat outside in the alleyway, and I explained to them what was happening, and they all took half pay.
Damn.
So that my guys were willing to go $50 a show.
Damn.
And they were in 100%. They didn't have their jobs and stuff back home. They were with me.
Wow.
And they were game to go for that, which you can't live off that. And we kept hanging on there for a couple months, and then that second album came out in November, and we got on the road with Zach Bryan brought us out on the road with him, and the album, it worked. The album, it did great, and we made the most of our opportunity getting to open that tour for him, and we made it.
The universe rewards that.
It was that close to just, even if I wanted to, I wouldn't have had money to even put in the gas tank.
But that's what makes the story beautiful. The terrible story is you quit. That's the terrible story. And you're sitting on the porch one day and you're an old man going, "God damn it, I think I could have made it."
Yeah.
Those are the most bitter of people, man. Those are the ones that talk the most shit about other artists. They talk the most shit about other people. The people that just have these regrets, the failed attempts, they didn't go through the door. They didn't do it. They didn't take that risk. They didn't just run. They didn't just fucking suck it up and try it. That's a scary thing. But if you can get through that scary thing, that's a better life. That's a better life. The life of fear and the life of regret, that's a terrible life. That life of wishing, the could have life, that's the shittiest life.
Yeah, you don't want to be that.
God damn, you don't want to be that, especially when there was a spark, when there's some potential.
Yeah.
Like in the comedy world, when you start out as an open micer, you start out with a bunch of fucking mental patients and crazy people, and because anybody can go on stage, and there's always like one or two guys that you're with, or girls, and they got something. They got something, and some of them make it and some of them don't. And if there's 100 of them, maybe one of them will become a professional. Maybe. It's probably not even that. It's probably for 500 open micers, it's probably not even that. It's probably 1,000. For every 1,000 open micers that regularly shows up, one of them will become a working professional.
Yeah, that can actually sell tickets.
But man, I have these fucking dreams sometimes where I remember these people that I knew that they had it, man. They had something. There's this girl that I dated when I was like 21. It was like the last time I ever dated a comedian. But God damn it, she was funny, man. She was really funny. And I remember thinking, damn, she's funnier than me. Like, she's funny, man. She's good. Like, she had something. And it wasn't always, you'd have these open mics are rough, like bad crowds. Like, sometimes you bomb, sometimes you do well. But every now and then she would be on stage and she would catch that wave and they'd be like, look at her go. Yeah. Look at her go. She's going to do it. She's going to make it. She fucking quit.
Mm-hmm.
And I think about people like that. I think about dudes that I knew that had just had it, man. There's this one guy that I knew from New York. I remember the first time I watched him on stage, I'm like, oh my God, that guy's the next Bill Hicks. Look at this motherfucker. Holy shit. Quit. disappeared, went away.
It's a hard road. Hard road to go.
Fuck. But that's the life of sadness and regret. Just to fucking not ever go for it is the worst. So that's like the universe gave you a little challenge.
Yeah,
Say,
that
Charles.
one. Man, I was losing sleep, bud. It was about
imagine.
yeah, it was like 3/4 of nights. I was getting up at 2 a.m. and just
God, I could imagine.
I was freaking out. But you know, stretched out and honestly, like I love my guys because they went through that with me, and they're willing to like stick in there.
That's
so
beautiful.
yeah, I'm planning on as long as they'll be with me. You know,
That's awesome.
That's fine by me. We're gonna do it till we're 90 years old, like Willie Nelson.
Yeah, fuck yeah,
Try
dude.
to it.
That's amazing. Yeah, everybody loves and you if you can hear a story like that, if you're a person out there listening and you're not sure what to do and you hear a story like that, god damn it, go for it.
Mm-hmm.
You might not make it. It might not work out, but if it doesn't, guess what? Are you alive? Can you breathe? Can you walk? Well, you can do it again. Try it again. Try it a different way. Figure out what you did wrong.
And sometimes, and this is with me because, like, you know, and even though it's a small thing, you know, I wanted to play football for West Virginia, and I wasn't good enough. And everybody I grew up with knew I was trying to do it. My whole hometown knew what I was trying to do, and you know, it was embarrassing failing in front of all those folks. But once you've done that once, you know, there's almost you get a little, you like gain an advantage with having felt that before because you know what it's like. So if it happens again, well, you already been through it.
Right.
So if you've never just fallen on your face before, you might be scared to do it. But
yeah.
You know, that's something that, you know, so if somebody chases something out there and it doesn't work out, don't view that as a bad thing. It may pay off later when you find the next thing.
Yes.
And you're not scared to go for it. Because you already went for this other thing back in the past. So, you know, why not go for it?
Failure is very important because that feeling, that sucky feeling of failure is an amazing motivator.
Mm-hmm.
So some of like the big leaps that I've made in my career as a stand-up all came after bombing. Like you bomb and you just like, I gotta get to work. Like I gotta figure out what the fuck I did wrong, why that show went so bad. I gotta buckle up and get better. I really have to fucking focus. I can't be lackadaisical. I can't be lazy. I gotta get after it. Like that feeling, that horrible feeling, that's there on purpose. That's there. It's a tool. It's like a motivational tool. It's there to let you know. It's a sign. It's a very important, potent reaction that you have to this bad path. You did the wrong thing. You went the wrong way. You took a wrong turn. You fucked it all up. You feel like shit, right? You feel like a fucking loser? Good. It's because you are a loser. Like right now, you're a loser. You don't want to be a loser, right? Okay. Get to work.
Yep. You can't be resting on those laurels, you know?
Yeah.
You just got to keep pushing. You know, a really valuable thing, and honestly, I've been listening to this show. This show fills a lot of time when I was, you know, on the road all these years. And so I was like a 23-year-old kid driving my old Highlander to gigs, and I listened to this show, and can't remember exactly when, it might have been multiple times, but you'd be talking with like fellow comedians about your all's come up, and you were talking about getting the famine mentality out of your mind. You know, you had to figure out that that's a toxic place to be at mentally.
Yeah.
Is letting other people's success like fuck with you or make you being jealous about it and all that. And I remember listening to that as a kid, and I hadn't figured that out yet for myself, but hearing that, I was like, oh yeah, that's smart. Just be happy for folks and keep moving, focus on you. And that was one of the most valuable things that I ever, you know, learned from somebody else, was that just to get that out of my head there way back at the beginning, and just have that like healthy mindset going into, you know, what is a decade-long crucible of trying to make it in the music industry.
That's beautiful.
Is getting that just positive frame of mind where you're just working on you, and if you see something good happen to somebody else, hell yeah, good for them.
It can be a positive thing.
Mm-hmm.
When other people succeed and you have that jealous demon gets in your mind, you can turn that around and use that as inspiration. But you have to consciously understand what's happening here. And other people's success, that is not your failure. That's their success. And you could use that as fuel. That could be inspiration. And it could be entirely positive. And especially if you know those people. The saddest thing to me is when there's a friend and one friend has something really big happen, and the other friend gets jealous and starts shitting on that friend because of it. And you see it in comedy all the time. And it's a terrible mindset. And there's the same experience could be approached in a completely different way, where your friend makes it and you're like, dude, fuck yeah, god damn it, you did it, this is incredible, holy shit, you're killing it, I'm so pumped, man, I'm gonna get to work now, I'm gonna work harder, I'm gonna carve my path now that I know that you did it, and now that I feel that sense that I want that in my life, I want to achieve that. It can be fuel, and that fuel is important. It's so valuable. And instead, people piss that fuel away as jealousy and bitterness, where it does you no good. It poisons you. It ruins you. You're hoping for someone's failure. And it's such a terrible weakness. It's a terrible weakness of character that so many people just give into.
Yeah.
Joe Rogan. Motivation Joe Rogan. It comes along every once in a while. Motivation Joe Rogan will kick in.
I like it.
Yeah, I like it a lot. One of the many things that attracted me to the podcast, because like that guy, funny enough, I didn't even catch that when I listened to that clip, but just like that guy, I was young and just listening to the show, and
Yeah.
same type of thing, and just like letting the show like push me forward and like motivate me and like keep me going and keep my mind off of the mind numbing tasks that I was doing at the time.
Yeah.
Of just like making muffins. One of my jobs just making muffins, just taking
In a huge industrial bakery.
Yeah, just taking trays of muffins, just doing this for 12 hours.
Oh my God.
You get 2 breaks. It was illegal. They only gave you 2 breaks. They're 10 minutes each. It was illegal. It didn't matter. Oh man, it was terrible. I was like, all right, as long as I get headphones, I'm good.
But I like stories like that because then you're comparing where you were then to where you are now.
Yeah.
And it's really beneficial. So it's nice to have things that are like continuous, like you and Charles with the JRE.
Yeah.
So you can remember listening to it then, and you're still listening to it now, but how much of a different situation your life is in.
Yeah.
It's great.
I was like, I should get paid for listening to this show. I listen to this show like it's my job.
There you go.
I was like, I've been doing this for a long time. I put a decade into this. But yeah, just very interesting to hear him talk about that. Talk about the universe giving you a little test.
Yeah.
I was talking about that same thing. So funny, thinking about exactly what you just said. Having this conversation, I hope Kevin doesn't mind, having this conversation with my buddy while I was doing Uber Eats. I remember getting out. It was so snowy and slushy. It was gross. It was terrible. And I was just writing to him because he was talking about because he has almost like 20 years in this game. And he's like, man, I think about it sometimes. And I'm like, but it's like, it's just around the corner. Like it has to be. Like, you've just been working for so long and it's just going to happen. Like, as long as you just keep doing it and you're dedicated to it and you love it. And for me, I can see it in him. Like, when I look at him, I'm like, you seem like you're famous. Like, you present like a famous person. Like, it's going to happen. Eventually, it'll happen your way, but it already seems like that. And I was just writing to him how, like, your dreams will test you. Like, they always test you because you're supposed to, like, give yourself to it to a certain extent, and then it kind of says, okay, well, I'm just going to give you this roadblock.
Yeah.
Because your dream kind of... your dream, the universe, God kind of understands where you're supposed to be as a person to actually achieve it. So as you're pursuing it, it kind of says, okay, well, here's this roadblock and this will give you X, Y, Z.
Yeah.
So when you get there, you'll be okay. And it's like you get through that and it's like, okay, good. After a while, it's like, okay, so here's A, B, C. So this is going to sharpen your teeth a little bit here. This one's going to thicken your skin. This one's going to make you a little more humble. This one's going to make you appreciate it a lot more. And it's like, it just keeps throwing these roadblocks at you. And I noticed that when those walls of resistance come up, they're actually like, they're good. They're checkpoints.
Yeah.
It's like a signifier that you're supposed to push through. That you're supposed to push through whatever it is. It's actually not a dark time. It's not a bad time. It's actually a time where you're supposed to push through it.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's like a time of growth.
Yeah. And you should. It's hard because it sucks when it's happening, but you should know that whenever that comes, for anybody watching, you should know that whenever that comes, that's an indicator that you're on the right path.
Yeah.
Although it feels like an indicator that you're on the wrong path.
It's very hard to kind of stay optimistic when you're in that season of your dream.
Yeah.
But when you're through it and then you look back and you're like, wow, like I learned so much from that and I wouldn't be here if I didn't have that happen.
Yeah, exactly. You know what? Funny enough, my I had an experience like that. I actually I was in high school. I forget how old I was. 16, 17. And I called my brother and I was crying because I missed his birthday. And it was because I broke up with this girl. She broke up with me or whatever. I was really upset. And my brother said, like, kind of exactly like that. He's like, you know how many times I've been through what you're going through? He's like, I would have never met Audrey, my wife, if if that didn't happen. He's like, it's fine. He's like, that's what's supposed to happen. It's okay. He's like, trust me, it's okay.
Yeah.
Just relax. I was like blubbering like a.
Oh.
It was so bad. And he was just like, it's fine. He's like, just don't worry. It's okay. It's okay. You're gonna be fine.
That's
like,
nice.
He's like, I would have never met my wife if I didn't get dumped by this person or leave that person or this or that. And I was just like, yeah, true. Okay.
Yeah.
And I remembered that because it's true.
Mm-hmm.
It's true. When you look back, you're like, Steve Jobs says, you can never connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect them looking back.
Yeah, 100%.
You know, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's like, yeah, there's so many things. I never would have met you.
Yeah, we talk about that all the time. That like if the couple of things in our lives went well, then we wouldn't have met.
Yeah. If I was doing even a little better in life than I was, I would have never met you.
Yeah.
So it sucked at the time, but now it all makes sense.
Yeah. Exactly. If I had stayed at school, I wouldn't have met
Yeah, right? You would be successful.
you. Hey.
And you'd be having a good time
am
right
successful.
now. You'd be like on an island or something, maybe.
No.
Yeah, you'd be doing crazy things.
No, this is the
But
best
not with
place
me.
to be.
But not with me.
Yeah, so it'd be sad.
Yeah, right? But yeah, it's just such an interesting conversation about that because I've noticed that time and time again. And even now, like I don't like this is I shouldn't say this is successful. This is great. Obviously I have other aspirations, you know, like real estate and growing this podcast into something much different as time goes on. But yeah, like this is successful. But there's other things that I want to do.
Yeah.
It's hard to, it just feels, it's weird. There's just these weird barriers that come up even now. Because I didn't want to like shoot this down and say like, this isn't successful because this is great. What's happening now, what's happened in the past year is great. But even now there are these walls of resistance, you know,
Of course.
towards this. Like I'm not uploading as much as I want to, you know, I want to get, you know, editors and researchers and all this stuff. And it gets hard. You've been there through the hard times where I'm like, I can't do this. I'm like, I can't do this. I'm like, I can't do it. And you're like, just do it. Don't worry. It's fine. And then like a few days later, it's all great. And it's like, it gets so hard.
Yeah.
As somebody who's, I want to say a creator, but I think anybody who's going through anything.
Yeah. Anybody who's trying to build something, do something with their lives,
Yeah.
change something. It's
Yeah.
hard. But I think an important part of that is to not be down on yourself in the present for what you want of the future.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. You're always saying that to me.
Yeah, you can't negate your current success
Yeah.
because it is success.
Mm-hmm.
If you're making steps, that's succeeding.
Mm-hmm.
You can't take a look at what you want for yourself, the dream and like the perfect life, and then not have that right now and then be upset.
Yeah.
When you're actively moving forward.
Yeah, very true. That's very, very true.
You have to give yourself the credit for taking those steps in the first place.
Yeah, what do they say? Give yourself grace.
Yeah.
You have to give yourself grace in those times.
And I think it's easier for other people who care about you to give that to you and give you some perspective. And something I noticed about like what they were saying in the clip between Joe's stories of people who quit and Charles being able to persevere is that the people who are able to persevere generally have that support system.
Yeah.
Like he had his whole team.
Yeah, that's amazing.
But I was thinking about like comedians, like that's a very lonely gig.
It is, but it's not at the same time.
Like you have like your fellow comedians, but in terms of like family, like it's hard.
Families, yeah, it's a completely different thing. I mean, you know, when I was doing it, yeah, even now, from comedy to this, like most of my family doesn't really know, I think. I don't know, maybe.
Yeah.
I think my brother watches because he messaged me about something the other day.
That's nice.
And that was it, but I don't know that anybody else watches or anything like that.
Yeah.
And that's usually how it is when you're like creating things. Your family, it's odd because your family and friends won't care, but random people will be like, yo, I watch all the time and this
Yeah.
and that and this. Oh man, like somebody messaged her like, man, 90,000 subscribers. Man, I remember when you had 800. And I'm like, what?
That's so nice.
I'm like, this guy's like my brother.
Yeah.
I'm like, how do you know that?
Yeah.
You just know that you've been watching that whole time.
Yeah.
Like, it's amazing. It's amazing to think about. But
And then you heard from your friend and his dad was watching your videos.
yeah, that was a trip.
That was crazy.
That
and he
was a
didn't
trip.
even know.
Yeah, he just heard my voice in his
In his
parents'
house.
room. Yeah. That's so weird.
It's amazing.
That's so weird. Yeah, his dad's just like, yeah, he wraps up he reviews the Rogan stuff.
The Jogans. I like that.
He's like, he just reviews it, so he's like, I don't have to watch the whole thing. I was like, oh, geez, cool. Hope he's still watching.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But yeah, the people who quit, it's because as a comedian, you go on the road. You go on the road with people you know,
Yeah.
and that's a bonding experience. But sometimes it can get lonely. But other times, there's so many people. Like even with comedy, for me, I had this guy Jared Nathan. He's been on Kill Tony a bunch of times. He's doing real well in stand-up comedy. Down syndrome guy, and and he just randomly messaged me the other day, or maybe it was like last month or something. He's like, "Yo, come back."
No, that's
He's like,
nice.
come back. He's like, I do this show. He's like, you can come on my show. And I've had other comedians. Like, there's one guy like this. There's one comedian that messaged me almost every week.
Really?
And he's like, yeah, show, come on, like come watch or come be on. He's like, just come.
That's nice.
You know. So there's always people. It seems lonely because it's a lonely thing in terms of like what you said, family.
Yeah.
But then when you all come together, that's where another type of family forms.
For sure.
And you guys like all know each other.
Yeah.
And you're just there and it's late and there's no one in the crowd. Like Joe was saying, like open mics are rough. Like there's nobody there and we all kind of just stay so you have someone to perform in front of,
Yeah.
you know? Like even though you might go first, so you might just be like, well, I'll watch 10 other acts because, yeah, I don't want to leave right away.
Yeah, because it's
Yeah.
like
Wanna
mean.
see-
You gotta support.
Yeah, you want to see people do their stuff. And, you know, if you're like me, you'll throw out some fake laughs and stuff.
Ha ha ha.
You throw out the laughs where the laughs are supposed to be.
Yeah.
Like, you know, this is where they were
You
supposed to
can tell
laugh.
where it was intended.
Yeah. So I'll throw out a fake laugh for people. So.
That's nice.
Yeah, so. But honestly, even for me, I mean, and you're my wife, so it's good to talk to you about it. But I definitely want to get back out there and start doing things. I have a bunch of bits that I'm working on. And for people who watch the podcast, believe me, if you come to a show of mine, it'll be completely different. It won't be like we're on YouTube. It'll be like we're in a dark room together and I can say whatever I want. So just be prepared for that if you ever see me. You ever hear that I'm on a show? Trust me, it's going to be way different than what you're hearing right now.
Yeah.
But, you know, at the core, it'll be the same, you know.
Yeah, it's still you.
But yeah, I want to get out there. I don't want to be one of those people that quit. I have so many people who are like, don't quit. They're like, don't. You're really good. Don't quit. So I definitely have to get back out there. Yeah. Because it is a sad thing to quit things. I've failed at many things. It's a sad thing, you know? Because you can think back and be like, I could have done that. You know?
Yeah.
You know? Like you think about it, like, if I just like stuck it out just a little bit more, I could have accomplished that thing. You know?
Yeah, but sometimes doors are meant to be closed too.
Yeah, well, they're meant to be closed when you try. That's the thing. Like when Rogan's talking about people quitting, like failing and quitting are two different things. If you try and you fail, that's one thing. If you try and you fail and then you could try again and do it better and you know you could and you just don't, that becomes the tragedy. Because a lot of times people will convince themselves of this, just that. They'll be like, oh, well, doors are supposed to close. Whatever door has closed was probably meant to be. But if you're in front of a door right now and it's open, even a little bit, you should try to step through it.
Yeah.
You should try the thing, you know? I hate leaving stones unturned, you know? That's why I have an easel and I paint and I make shirts and I have lights. It's like I just want to keep trying and trying until, you know? I don't know. There's something about it. Like it feels like every single thing that you try and do, it's almost like there's this form of like universal archaeology that's taking place, where you're that archaeologist, and they have that little thing, you're just wiping things away. You're not really creating new things, you're kind of just discovering parts of yourself that were there the whole time.
Yeah.
And you're supposed to really, when you find something, like, you know, if we were doing it and you found like a little bit of an arrowhead, it's like, okay, like this is the area, let's go deeper, let's dig, let's find more of this. You know, you don't want to just stop and just be like, oh, it's a little arrowhead, okay.
Yeah, true.
And keep moving. You want to go deeper. You want to see how crazy you can get.
Yeah.
You know?
I saw this video of a girl on Instagram who was really inspiring, and she was talking about trying to get over her fear of rejection. So she would just go out and try and get rejected as many times as possible. So she would like apply to jobs that she would not get. And she literally went up to like two guys who were sitting in a restaurant having dinner together and asked if she could sit down and join them. And like did like a whole bunch of crazy things. And what she learned was a lot more of the time than she expected, she got answers back. Yeah, and it wasn't actually rejection, and like people would welcome her.
Yeah, for sure.
Like the guys were like, yeah, sure, sit down.
Yeah.
And she got an answer back from that job, and they gave her an offer.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's stuff like that happens a lot.
Yeah.
A lot more than you think.
Exactly. So she said she wouldn't have been able to do any of that stuff if she'd been afraid to apply in the first place.
Definitely. Yeah. Yeah. I love that, because it's so true. The things you go for, what do they say? They say the things that you're trying to move towards are also moving towards you. The things that you want also want you.
Yeah.
And you just have to kind of just
meet
take
it halfway.
the steps. Yeah. Yeah. You just have to do that. Because the worst thing that could happen is someone just says no.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I love that you said applying to jobs, because I've applied to so many jobs over the years.
Yeah.
Like you already know, I've worked like 40 jobs. I've applied to thousands of jobs.
Of course.
Like it's ridiculous. Like that's what I would do. I'd literally just sit there and just go, okay,
yeah,
click,
apply.
click.
Yeah.
And just over weeks just keep getting rejected. Okay, whatever. Okay. You know, you get rejected 100 times, but all of a sudden there's like 10 interviews.
Yeah. That's great.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So you got to keep trying stuff. You know, first time I tried video stuff, it was terrible. You know, with this camera.
Yeah.
With this camera. It was terrible. And you go like this, and the image flips upside down for some reason because it's a piece of garbage.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's terrible.
That's crazy.
It's a terrible little device here.
Yeah.
But when I would do that, people just thought I was editing. They thought it was like an edit. They're like, oh, he's doing a weird edit thing. It's like, no. My camera's just out of whack.
Wow. When was that?
When I first started vlogging.
Yeah.
When I did my first vlog. If you like you go to the videos, you scroll down. There's so many videos now, so it'd be hard. You go down like 1,010 videos. There's me just doing a vlog.
Yeah. I watched all your vlogs before we even met.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a bunch. And that was the first try. That wasn't even the first try. The first try I did a stand-up show and recorded it, and you know, I mean show by which I mean just me myself in my mom's basement. And I just kind of did a bit that I had in mind, and I had 2 cameras, and I switched back and forth.
Oh, that's cool.
And I just did a little editing thing, and yeah, it was crazy. It's so silly. Going on like classified type of ads and just offering my services for free as like a videographer, and just getting random people being like, yeah, can you film this thing? And I'm like, yeah, okay. Okay. And they're just dumb things, and building portfolio and buying stuff like this and having no clue how to use it, and still not knowing that well of how to use it. Like, yeah, it's an interesting process. But it's like all these tests just keep coming and coming. I feel like for right now, the test right now is getting this in hand. You've been a huge contributor, because quite honestly, I hate doing videos by myself. I hate it. I didn't get into all of this stuff to do things by myself. Even again, you feel like comedy's lonely, but it's like the whole time before you go up there and do your 5, 10, 20 minutes, you're just with people.
Yeah.
You're just with people. As soon as you get there, there's like a bunch of people. Hey, you're just like talking to people the whole time. And then you're in front of like 100 people. And then you get off stage and you're with a bunch of people. It's like really not lonely. It's actually quite like you're mixed in with a lot of people all the time, and they come from all walks of life.
Yeah.
Like, it's actually crazy. And it like breaks down barriers. You'd be hanging out with a trans chick and some black girl and an Asian guy and some guy who's just here because he wants to learn how to speak better in front of the people he works with. Yeah. It's such a weird like mix when you're in the open mic circuit. So yeah, I don't like doing things by myself. So you've been a huge contribution, and I love it. I love it so much. It's such a great thing to have. I love it. Pretty soon we'll have a kid, and the kid will be working the camera. It'll be fantastic, you know. But yeah, kind of trailed off from what I was saying. But yeah, I just don't like doing things by myself.
Yeah.
And I like the whole doing things together with people. So I don't know. It'll grow more into more of that as time goes.
Yeah.
Other voices, other shows, documentaries, interviews, stuff like that.
Lots of cool things coming up.
Yeah. Hopefully. But actually, what I was saying was, I definitely want to. Well, I already said it. Yeah, I want to get back into comedy. I want to do it again. I got to do it. I can't let. I feel like the major wall of pressure right now, or wall of resistance, is going back to getting on stage, like getting on stage again, because it's like working out. When you don't work out, oh man,
it's like hard again.
Oh, it's so hard. It's like it's gonna be like the first time all over again.
Yeah.
And that's terrible. Oh, it's a terrible feeling. I can already remember the first time I went on stage, and now I'm gonna have to do it again. And it's like, God, Jesus. It's so rough, and it'll be fine because I still have like a little muscle memory because it is like working out. But oh God, that's my main wall of resistance right now. Going and doing that, just getting out there and just doing 5 minutes real quick.
Yeah,
being around people. Yeah, that's the thing.
It's also hard, like geographically sometimes, just like actually physically getting out there.
Well,
at night.
It's really not, because you can just go. Because in reality, I could just go and just be like, listen, got a wife, gotta go, bye. I could go to a show and be like, let me go first. You know, nobody really likes to go first. Let me go first. Okay, I'll go first, and then just leave. I could do that, and everybody will understand. You know, I could do it really quick. The whole thing could take like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
You know, when you really break it down, most things that you're really afraid to do,
Don't just take that long.
Yeah. You think they're going to take long, and you make it take months with your procrastination and avoidance, but it's really just like a quick thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you have that you feel like a regret of?
I don't know. Like I've said it before, is that I regret not finishing school, but at the same time, like I don't think that would have been my path anyway.
Yeah, probably not.
Doing like biochemistry and very sciencey things.
Yeah.
Like I still like science, like as a passion and interest.
Especially as 2020 rolled around.
Yeah, insane.
What then?
No, I would have been a very different person.
You would have just had to go to the restaurant industry anyway.
Yeah.
That's so crazy.
Yeah.
That's so crazy. Nuts. That's so nuts. Yeah, so that's one, I guess. I have that too with school, because with supply chain management, like I was at a 4.0 the whole way, and I had like one more thing to do. That would have took like 3 weeks, and I was just like, I was just getting high, and I was just like depressed and in and out of stuff, and I was just like, I don't care, whatever. I'm like, I don't want to do it anyway. Who cares? It's weird. But sometimes I think, especially to what you were saying about sometimes doors are meant to be closed, sometimes there's a wall of resistance, and sometimes I feel like the universe is looking at you like a 2-year-old who wants to like play with a knife. You know, like a 2-year-old came in here right now, he'd be like, give me that knife.
Yeah,
you're like,
put that down.
No, you can't have this. This is dangerous for you. You can't handle this. You don't even know what to do with this. What do you want this for? I feel like sometimes things in our lives are like that.
Yeah.
And it's just like, you don't need that. You think you need that. And then it feels like there's this odd wall of resistance, and then all of a sudden it just doesn't work out and it sucks, but then you realize it was just a big knife.
Yeah. And kids are always going to cry and throw a tantrum when you tell them no or take something away.
Yeah, exactly, right? Yeah. That's how I feel sometimes. Because, yeah, I would have been on a terrible path if I went through the supply chain management.
Yeah, I don't think you'd be happy.
Not at all. It'd be terrible.
Yeah, and I told you from the beginning, like, happiness is the most important thing, and you need to find something that's happiness over money.
Yeah, that's true. You did.
Always.
You've always been saying that. You've always been saying that. My brother told me that one time, and it really stood out because he's much older than me, and things he says really do stand out to me, especially because like none of them like give advice. Actually, like Chris gives advice. He'll be like, do this, don't do that. I'll be like, get out of here. But my oldest brother, he doesn't do that. He doesn't like intervene. So when he actually like said
he just drops like sage wisdom every 5 or 10 years.
Yeah, I was gonna say like every decade or so. But yeah, he was like, yeah, whatever you do, make sure you're happy.
Yeah.
And I was like, huh. And then I just started like doing things. I was like, huh, would I be happy? And then I started the thought process of, in 10 years doing this, where would I be if everything went as good as it could go? Would I be happy? And it just became like an easier and easier process. And with this, I am. Whatever this could turn into in 10 years, if things went as good as it can go, and I'm in the top 100 or 50 podcasts or something like that.
Yeah.
That's great.
That's amazing.
Yeah. That's a great thing. If I could be a very present husband and father and, you know, have a studio that's at home, or maybe it's a little ways away from home, like not that far. And then that's my life, just podcasting, making clothing, you know, being with you like this. This is amazing.
Yeah.
So this is the thing that I'm leaning into the most. And the coaching. I love the coaching.
Yeah, that's great.
I do love it. I do love coaching people. It is a fantastic feeling.
But you also just love like talking to people and kind of giving advice where you can, and just talking through people's issues as well.
Yeah. When I first like episode like 1 to like 15, I kept putting my email out there for people, and I was going to give free consultations and stuff. And then when I hit like 1 million views, I was like, if I have 1 million people reach out to me, this is going to be terrible.
Yeah, your email is going to like shut down.
Yeah, it's going to be really bad. Well, just like not even the email, like just the people, like 30 people were like, yeah, free consultation 1 hour. I'd be like, oh God,
True.
what am I going to do?
That's a long time. That's a lot.
That'd be a whole day taken up, you know?
Yeah.
Days taken up.
Days and days.
So that had to stop. But I do like the private coaching for those that need it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I stay very affordable, just so you know. Very, very affordable. But yeah, I like when Rogan talks about stuff like that, because this is actually the exact type of talk that inspired me to do stand-up, because I was driving around the first place I ever did stand-up at, and I wasn't going to go because there was this wall of resistance, because I was so scared. And I was listening to him talk like this, and I was like, okay. And he's talking about stand-up, and he's talking about some people quit, and he's like, it's the best thing ever, and you know, he's just talking about it, and I just said, okay, I'm just gonna do it, because you know why? A podcast doesn't exist anymore. Someone took it down, but him and Chris D'Elia were talking, and Chris D'Elia goes, even when you bomb, it's the best. It's just the best, you know, being a comedian. And I was like, yeah, okay. I'm like, even if I bomb, it's the best. Nice. I'm like, okay. And I just got out of the car and went up there, and it was terrible. And it was great.
But that's okay.
Yeah. And it's funny because like 6 of the people who I did that with, and that was years ago, I still talk to all the time. Yeah, we're still all friends.
That's great.
But yeah, watching people quit is rough. It's a rough thing.
Something I like that Joe was saying in the clip as well was he was talking about jealousy and having people really beat down on you for success.
Yeah.
And I was just thinking about how you can really tell who your friends are by how they respond to your good news. Like everybody is sympathetic when you're kind of going through rough times. But when you tell them your good news, see how they respond.
Yeah, there are almost sometimes friends that are happy with your bad news.
Yeah, and they're happy to be there for you.
Yeah,
and hear all about it.
Yeah. It's interesting.
And you don't notice. You just think it's them being compassionate and kind and good friends.
You don't know until you have something good going on.
Yeah.
And then
you know.
All of a sudden they get weird.
And they don't want to hear from you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not good friends, guys.
I get that a lot now. Not a lot, but like from a few people
Yeah,
where I'm like,
it happens.
yeah.
And sometimes it's sad because you think those people are good friends.
Yeah, of course. But also it's a little bit of what they're going through, right?
Yeah.
Anytime if a direct friend, like for me, I have a direct friend, close friend who became a millionaire, and I was like, this is fucking amazing.
Yeah.
This is great. This is so great. Not just because they'll lend me money, not just because of that, but because it was just like for years, the same kind of come up story. Like we're just both broke together and trying to scrounge money together to like, you know, buy $10 worth of weed. And all of a sudden now he's like doing all these things. I'm like, oh, this is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's such a good feeling to see somebody like that. But when that happened with him, so many people had such an issue with it.
Mm-hmm.
They were talking so much about talking down on like him and how it's gonna. Oh yeah, so many people.
That's horrible.
Yeah, it just happens.
Yeah.
That whole jealousy thing. I'm really not like that. I've had people in the comments be like, I wish I could just do this Rogan thing.
I know, all the time.
And I'm like, bro, email me.
Yeah, do it. Go ahead.
I'll help you. I'll show you how to make thumbnails.
Yeah.
I'll do it. And I would too. I'd be like, oh, you're starting? Okay, let's go.
Yeah.
Let's see you get through it. This is year one. Let's see where you go.
Yeah.
Let's do it. I would love to do that. There's so many people where I talk to them. There's a comedian right now. She's like a mother of two, single mother. And she's like Roseanne. Like, you know, Roseanne is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Roseanne seems crazy because she's old. This girl is exactly like Roseanne, but she's young.
Oh, that's weird.
And so she's nuts. She's like just a young nuts person. And young, still older than us.
Yeah.
Know? But just, you know.
But not Roseanne.
Yeah, exactly. She's like 40 or whatever. And right away, I'm like, yo, you should start a podcast. Like right away. Like in my mind, I'm like, oh, her podcast would be better than my podcast. I'd be like, she should do this right away. And I was telling her, I'm like, hey, I even have microphones I don't use anymore. I'll give them to you. Like, I'll give them to you right now. If you do it, 100%, I'll give them to you. Like, no problem. Like, I want to see people do really well. It's the best thing.
Yeah.
It's actually the best thing. So I'm often like that. There was actually just a guy I commented on his video. I'm like, yo, buddy, your thumbnails suck. He's doing the exact same thing I'm doing. Your thumbnails are terrible. And your title should be this. You should change it to this title right now. You should just switch it right now. Watch. It'll do better. And right away, he's like, yo, I appreciate the support. I'm like, yo, email me. He emailed me. Now we're talking. Like, I have
nice.
I don't think there's anybody that I am jealous of. Even my buddy, who I grew up with, Jared Nathan, even when Rogan mentioned him on the podcast.
Oh, that's amazing.
I was like, oh my God, does he know? Does he know that this has happened? Like, I wasn't there's not the one time that I've been, there is a time that I've been jealous. Didn't like talk down on the person or anything. But when I was in my Christian men's group and, you know, Dre,
Yeah.
he always has kids. And I was like, man, I'm like, that's the life. Like, he just always has some kind of baby or toddler or kid and he's just like, just being a dad when he's on the calls with us. I was like, oh man, like I want that. I want that. That's the only time ever. I guess that's more envy. I don't know. Cause it's not like I want what he has.
Yeah. You
like,
don't want to take it away from him.
Yeah, exactly. That's been the only time. It's been the only time. Yeah. Where I was like, man, I want that.
Yeah.
That's great. But other than that, I like seeing people do well.
Mm-hmm.
It's very, very enjoyable. Yeah. Even before we did this, I wanted you to start your own thing. I wanted you to have your own YouTube channel.
Yeah. Yeah, you did.
About being
You just want everybody to have a YouTube channel and have their own podcast.
Yeah, they should. You know what's funny about that? Joe Rogan used to be like that too. When he first started, he used to tell everybody to start a podcast.
That's so funny.
And a lot of people did, and they got really successful at it.
Yeah.
I just think everybody should try it. Like, why wouldn't you try?
I don't know. I genuinely don't think I would have enough to say.
Well, now you're doing it, and we've been talking for almost an hour, so you're good there.
Yeah.
But I mean, just like, you know, like you didn't do it, but you did this. Like, it turned into something else. And if that happened, then this wouldn't happen. You know, it's one of those things, right? So it's just, yeah, I want everybody to just try. Like, why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Because, do you know why? Because when you see someone on a screen and you watch them all the time, you're like, oh, this person's, like, I connect with this person, but they're doing something that's bigger than what I can do. And it's just not true. It's just not true at all. Like, I'm just doing a thing and you could do the exact same thing. Like, you ever wonder, like, you watch YouTube, you look at like Ben Shapiro and he's like, you look at Candace Owens and you're like, Jesus, she needs to put on some makeup.
Oh, no.
There's a bunch of weirdos online.
Yeah.
A bunch of weird looking people. You know why? Because they're the ones that push through.
Yeah.
They're the ones that just say, I'm just going to do it.
Yeah.
You look, there's a bunch of weird looking guys. A bunch. Rogan's a weirdo. Look at
Penguin
him.
Zero.
You know what I mean? Penguin Zero. Yeah, he just has long hair. His name's Charlie. And he's just like, hey guys, what's going on?
I remember the first time I saw you watching Penguin Zero. I was like, who is that guy? Because he's just like in some random room. There's like a mini fridge in the back.
He's just chilling.
And you were like, he has like whatever million followers. And I was like, what?
Yeah, at the time it was like 11. Now it's like just as much as Rogan.
That's crazy.
He gets way more views than Rogan.
Good for him.
He gets like 1 million a day.
Good for
2
him.
million a day almost. He's incredible.
He just sits there with his scraggly hair and gets asked about white versus black t-shirts.
He just decided to do it and just kept
Good for
doing
him.
it. That's it. That's all you have to do. Like nobody online is special. Don't think anybody's better than you. Especially celebrities. I have a good theory. I think we're gonna start a vlog on the website because I want to start writing. But I have a good theory that celebrities, they're just pets. Those people are just pets. They just have golden handcuffs on. They shouldn't be looked up to. They shouldn't be looked at with any kind of awe or anything like that. They're just pets. They're just people's pets. They're just the contracts they get and the houses, the massive estates that they have. It's just like Paris Hilton putting her dog inside a wonderful purse.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. Just we don't know who their Paris Hilton is that's holding them and walking. We just don't see that person. Don't look up to any of these people. I think regular people are way better than celebrities.
Yeah, probably. A bit more integrity.
Yeah. More integrity, more to say, and willing to say more.
Yeah.
And not saying it because of something else behind them that nobody knows about, you know? So, I don't know. But yeah, I love when Rogan talks like this. I love when it gives us a chance to talk like this as well. Yeah. I really enjoy it. How are you doing?
Good.
You doing good? We got something big on the way.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah. Oh man. But yeah. What else you got? That's it. I think we'll wrap it up here, guys. Like, subscribe, share, and try every single thing that has been on your mind that you've ever wanted to do. Do not try. Just go and do it. Like Rogan said, it leads to a better life. Even if the thing doesn't work out, it leads to a better life because now you've given yourself more resolve. There's more resolve inside of you to execute on the next thing. If you fail 100 times, when you find the thing that actually clicks, you're going to be so used to failure. You're going to be so used to uncertainty. You're going to be so able to get back up again that when you find the thing that really locks onto your heart, you're going to be unstoppable. So just do it. Whatever the thing is, just do it. Who cares? Just try it. And other than that, we are out.
Bye.